Hey you guys, welcome to another update from my neck of the woods about how my week went and what I've been thinking about and about what I've experienced. And um, I'm glad the work week is over. It was very exhausting. I say that in every one of my videos, but it's true. But at the same time, I put this little picture up that I was sent by email or found on Facebook, where I have a very limited amount of people that I even let post on my newsfeed because I'm really trying to just have positive influences in my life as best as I can control it. And so this one said, you can't calm the storm, so stop trying. What you can do is calm yourself. The storm will pass. I very much resonated with that this week because it seems like I know the world is in chaos. I know, there's a lot going on the planet, but I've told you guys I'm trying to only limit my view on what's going on in my life. Otherwise, I'll go cray cray. And so yeah, there's a storm going on in my world, not my direct vicinity, but at work. They're still trying to figure out the whole thing, who gets to come on the premises and who does not. And that seems to be a global thing now, that governments are apparently trying to figure out where unvaccinated people can go and where they cannot go. And they're also trying to figure out how to push more people into getting vaccinated. And so this debate has been ongoing at my workplace, and there are a lot of conflicting opinions on the matter, you can imagine. And I don't want to get into it here, but it's very, very emotionally challenging and exhausting to witness all of this, especially when you are one of the two receptionists at a very large company where hundreds of people work only at my location. And um, yeah, you have to have discussions with so many people that are trying to come on the premises or into the building, and you will either have to stop them or let them in based on them showing their vaccination certification. And so, yeah, so we've been busy with all of that, with the adjustments to that. And there are preparations going on for general management from the States and the UK coming to our location the beginning of November now. The last time the whole trip or the whole event was cancelled. Now even more of them want to come to Germany. I'm not sure why, because we're still in the middle of a pandemic, and every country is still trying to get a grip of the whole situation. And so I'm not sure why people want to travel internationally right now, but it's not up to me. And so, yeah, work's been busy. The other receptionist called out, and so I've been working overtime. And it's getting increasingly harder for me to identify with all of what's going on. I'm trying to withdraw from it. I feel myself detaching from what is going on, um, because it's just hard to deal with it. As an empath, it's especially hard to go through these times in full blown, um, employment, and having to deal with so many people being pushed into fear and desperately holding on to what they have and not just going with the flow. It's very hard for me to experience that, when for me to witness it, because some of you know from my old videos that have been long deleted on my channel, that several times in my life I lost everything. I lost my home. My finances were always messed up because of men that I was with. I supported them, and yeah, I chose the wrong men several times in my life, not just the two husbands that I had, but so several times I lost everything. And that puts you in the position to say, okay, so I lost everything several times and I still made it through it. I'm still okay. Or you got to experience that, okay, so I don't have that many material things around me and yet I survive. That is a very valuable lesson that I learned several times, and that was accompanied by the fact that um, I was, for the most part of my life, evaluating what I have around me, material belongings, how I organize them, how much material stuff I need around me, and how much I just keep because I want to have a false sense of security. And so, yeah, and so seeing people at work really struggling as opposed to the way they were before the pandemic, really struggling or suffering from fear that they're going to lose everything, that they're going to lose their job if they don't get vaccinated now, which as a result, they would probably lose the car that they're making payments on or the house that they're making payments on. And it's not easy to see that, but at the same time, it's interesting to see how people are desperately clawing to what they have, and it's it is what it is, right? Me, I've changed because of what has happened to me in life. I've lost jobs where I was the only dependable person in the company. That happened several times in the States. And I was the only one that never called out, never showed up drunk or intoxicated in any way, always filled in for others, and yet got fired because I knew too much. Um, because I had witnessed them, my co-workers, not all of them, but most of them, being intoxicated, showing up late for work, and stealing at the job, at the workplace. And so I still lost those jobs. I mean, it was at the time I didn't want to believe it, but it was probably the universe saying, "You're too good for this job. There's so much better for you out there, and you're just suffering here." And I would have never quit those jobs probably, and so the universe had to step in and have me fired for no good reason. And every single time I won the lawsuit for unemployment benefits, but it wasn't easy to get there. But these times I learned that I can just depend on the universe taking care of me because it's going to. And that's why I'm not at all worried that I'm going to lose my job. And if I do, I'll find another one. And if I don't find another job, then money will come my way somehow. I've made it to that point, but it took so many negative experiences where I really lost everything or where people really tried to harm me and succeeded in harming me or damaging my finances. And so, yeah, but at work every day I see the fear in people's eyes, the worries about, whether or not they can even enter the premises to do their job or if they're going to go back into home office. And it's the more I see of it, the more I feel that I'm detaching from this world. Now, this is gonna sound strange, but some of you are probably gonna understand what I'm trying to say. Um, Somewhat like not my monkeys, not my circus. I just show up and from a place of okay, what does life have in store for me today? I just react to every situation the way it comes. I have no expectations anymore. I'm not trying to change things for the better. The more I do that, the more people say, "Oh, you're so calm. I'm always glad when I get to talk to you. That really helps." And me not being in some back office, but being at in the front of the building at the reception probably has a positive impact on a lot of people. I'm not aware of that. I'm just trying to be myself. Um, but I feel a little weird that I'm not buying into the hustle and bustle anymore of all of this. We need to make more money and we need to get more customers. And, um, I'm not buying into it anymore. It has lost its appeal. When I was younger and not so experienced spiritually, I totally bought into it, and it feels so much better to not be a part of it anymore. I'm a part of it in the sense that I am still working for a large company and being there at the reception and dealing with a lot of people every single day that try to make money, that are desperate for the money. And like cold calls we get, companies that want to offer their services and products, and we get so many of them every single day. And I try to explain to them that there's no interest, and but I wish them all the best anyway. If they smart off to me, of course, my level of friendliness or my mood changes, and I tell them not to call again, and afterwards I block their number right after the phone call. But yeah, it's an interesting time for sure to see that apparently a lot of people have either not had a lot of challenging situations in their lives, as to, when it comes to losing everything and having to start over again and again and again. It looks to me like or it feels to me like they have never experienced it, and they are scared shitless that it's going to happen to them. And I can't relate anymore because I'm just calm, and I know that there's a lot of crazy stuff going on the planet right now, a lot of shifting of energies, but it does not faze me anymore. It does not. But I do still have to ride public transportation every single day for 2 hours, and I have to wear a mask, but only the medical mask, not the heavy duty mask that we wore for about a year and a half. That was rough, especially during the hot summer months. And I see so much where I'm thinking, wow, either somebody dropped me off on the wrong planet, or like that guy said, in Men in Black, the first part. I'm gonna show you that quote here. Sometimes I feel like that. So much self-unaware scum out there, and I don't consider myself better than anyone else. I'm just stabbing in the dark here when it comes to life, just like the others. But I'm self aware. And when I see people reaching under their masks on public transportation, picking their noses, or I could start a new channel, I mean a totally different channel, and post every single day what I witnessed, where I'm thinking, what has humanity come to? Are we evolving backwards? I don't know, but I don't want to get into that too much because that's negative again. And I'm trying to not be negative. I'm trying to expand my mind and push forward with spiritual topics. And so I watched again the movie Jim and Andy, Jim Carrey and Andy Kaufman, The Great Beyond. I watched that on Netflix again. And what Jim Carrey was talking about in that movie about um, being courageous enough to be yourself and be authentic. That is something that I had to learn the hard way, but it has made my life so much easier. Like the way he described it is not belonging to any club, not fitting into any category of humans, just being yourself is so important in life. And it makes life so much easier because you come off as an authentic person, And like, let's say I talk to the other receptionist, and I say a certain thing, and then the week after I talk to the department manager about the same thing, and I'm still gonna say the same thing. Like, I'm not changing my opinion. I think it's called being an opportunist, right? I'm not changing my way of talking or my opinion depending on the person that I'm talking to. And that makes life so much easier and so much less complicated. And I don't play games, I'm just being myself. Like, every situation that I come across, I'm just being myself. And I come from a place of, can I live with this or can I not live with this? And it's very exhausting to do it. It's a lot of hard work, but it's really worth it. Jim Carrey also says that suffering is valuable. It pushes you to either adjust to that which causes you pain, or it pushes you to change your life, your emotional, no, your environment, and the people around you, etc. And I very much agree with that, even though I used to think, gosh, why is there so much negative stuff happening in my life? And am I that unlucky? What is going on? Or am I making the wrong decisions? Am I picking the wrong people to be around me? And now I understand that that's not the case at all. Um, I recently watched several videos of Eckhart Tolle. Tolle is actually how you pronounce his name, but nobody does it, and so he's German. And he said that our existence here, the purpose for it is to actually suffer, to push us forward spiritually, to push us to our limits, to where we understand, wow, if I changed my behavior or my reaction towards this kind of thing or this kind of person, then my life would be so much easier, and it would push me forward as a person. It would improve my personality. And so, but the bottom line being that our goal should not be to get into a situation where we don't suffer anymore, because suffering is what teaches us to change. But some people, for example, like Amberlyn Reed, don't get to that point. They keep um, repeating the same mistakes over and over again, the same behavior over and over again. And they're just, to me, and I know people like this in real life, they're like hamsters on a wheel and they can't get off. They scream at us, wow, this is stressful, and help, help, but they don't change their behavior. And so they continue to run in that hamster wheel. The opposite of that is, let me take a short break and drink something. So I know a person in real life that might have learned from her, it's a woman, from her mistakes, but she has given up on life. And I'm not saying who it is, but I know her in real life. And so what happened was, she made a whole bunch of bad experiences. Like we all do, like maybe chose the wrong partner, and chose the wrong job or whatever, and became so unhappy that she completely gave up on life. And so on this current day, she is a hoarder. She has quit her job. She lives off of state help, and she doesn't do anything in her life. She does not move forward with anything. She's surrounded by items that she's had around herself for decades. She does not move. She does not declutter. Um, it's hard to watch that, but some people do just give up and not try anything, like not start any projects, like hanging up a shelf or whatever. Just um, watching videos all day long, every day. And that's how some people choose to react to what has happened to them. They just don't take a chance anymore of making new experiences, making new acquaintances, meeting new people, or um, taking a chance at being in a completely new surrounding by choosing another job, like even applying for a job. And so I see, so this person is a very extreme example. I've never seen anything like it, and it's hard to see it because I'm not like that. But everybody has to deal with their life the way they feel is right, or that they feel comfortable with. And so what Jim Carrey was saying, and Eckhart Tolle confirmed it in one of his videos, is that suffering is very important in life. And so a few years ago, I stopped feeling bad about what happened to me, like the wrong men that I chose, or the wrong jobs that I chose. Like every situation that I was in taught me something, and I'm happy about that. I mean, I wished I didn't have to go through all the suffering to come out on the other end with like a newly found understanding of in what way I should be looking at life. Like right now, I gotta tell you guys, with everything that's been going on, pandemic related, I cannot take life seriously anymore. I'm laughing more than before, maybe not because I've gone crazy, but because I feel like a spectator of all of this chaos going on. I'm not trying to run around anymore and change people. I just, watch the whole thing and think, wow, these are the times we're living in. Like, let me give you an example. Like, this week we had a short conversation, me and two ladies on my team, and I updated them on what we're dealing with at the reception concerning controlling who enters the building. And so we were talking about that. And so the main topic was basically how the government is dealing with this whole vaccination certification thing, or how they're pushing people, really pushing, like actively pushing, not just advertising and saying please get vaccinated, or I don't know, but everywhere you look you're being asked please get vaccinated, and it doesn't sound like it's an order. It just sounds like, like please come to your senses and get vaccinated. But what they're also doing is they're increasing the cost for tests, for COVID tests. And so let's say, and I'm not sure because I'm not going out that way anymore because I'm not playing, but I'm vaccinated, as you guys know. And so if I wanted to go to a restaurant with a friend that is not vaccinated, that person would have to show a test, a negative COVID test. And so they're talking about massively increasing the cost for those tests that you have to pay for yourself. And so they're also pushing, they're not just suggesting, please get vaccinated, but they're pushing people indirectly, because if you want to have any kind of social life whatsoever and you're not vaccinated, now it's going to cost you. And so we were talking about this whole thing, but I just wanted to update them on what's going on at the reception, because they participate in the daily meetings with human resources. We don't. The other receptionist and I, we don't have the time. We have too much to do, and so these other two team members, participate in the daily meetings, and that's why I updated them. And so one of the ladies that I work with, that I was talking to at the time, became completely emotional about how we're being controlled, and this is not right, and it should be different, and the government can't do this. And I felt her pain, but there's just, I try to calm her down in the sense that I try to make the conversation go back to, okay, but right now at the reception this is what's going on. And and but I felt detached from it. Like I didn't want to participate in the discussion because these two team members went back and forth. Yeah, but it's better to get vaccinated. But on the other hand, no, we shouldn't be controlled like this by our government and pushed like this. And it's a two-class population now, and this shouldn't be going on. And I felt myself not reacting to it emotionally because I feel like not my monkey, not my circus. Like there's nothing I can do to change it right now. And so there's no need for me to get emotionally involved. And so, yeah, that's what I've noticed this week, that I've detached from what is going on. And I hope it's not a bad thing because spiritual teachers are telling us that that's the best way to do it. Like, use this time to go inwards and look at your life, look at where you want to be, what you want to work towards, and focus on the now, be in the now. And I left my Eckhart Tolle book in the States, Being in the Now, or The Power of Now. And so I'm going to reorder that in November when my money comes in. But so yeah, this is what's going on. I have a few, superficial updates. No, before I go on, before I get to the updates, but they're really not nothing big. Jim Carrey also said when you are freed from concern, like when you're not in fear, like oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose my job because I'm not, doing this or that, and so they're gonna fire me, and then I'm gonna lose my car, and so Jim Carrey says when you're freed from concern, you can just be yourself. Ideas such as being an American, etc., become foreign to you. Like, I understand that society still wants to label people, and I don't identify with that anymore. Like, for example, gray hair means inactive, it means old, and that's no longer the case. And a lot of people have understood that, but some people have not. But I see more and more, especially women, men have always done it, but more and more women just letting their hair go in the sense of color. And they're like, what, 30, 40, 50 years old, and they have gray hair. And so, I was never concerned with that. I just felt better having brown hair. And so for, what, 30 years I dyed it, and then I just stopped when I got back from the States. And I found a job anyway. And the woman that hired me actually said it's not so much about the looks, even though you have to have some kind of look when you work as a receptionist, but she said it's the energy. It's so much of it is the energy why they hired me. Of course, also my eloquence or my typing speed or whatever, or the fact that I speak two languages fluently, stuff like that. But it's also the energy. And can you react to varying situations fast, And so I very much identified with that when Jim Carrey said, ideas such as being an American, etc., become foreign to you. I don't feel like a German. I don't feel like an American. I have a German passport, but I felt just as home in the States as I do here. And so to me, it makes no difference if I'm German or American or Australian or whatever. Um, it's a concept that they're still holding on to, and I hope that the development will go in the direction that we're all humans because we all are. This whole idea of dividing and conquering the masses, I don't like, and I disidentify with it more and more. But once in a while, when I do watch the news, I just smile at how they're trying to convince people that we're all so different and we should, be at each other's throat for our differences. And I do not agree anymore at all. But I find it amusing almost. It's sad in a way, but I find it amusing almost that they're still trying. What else? So when you're being authentic, Jim Carrey says you don't feel the peer pressure to do anything anymore. Nobody has any power over you. Like any form of manipulation doesn't work on you. That is so freeing. I'm sure a lot of people that watch my videos identify with that one. Um, oh yeah, and then he said it, and the weapons of mass information have no influence on you. And that's what happened to me a few years ago. It happened to me in the States when I was watching the Weather Channel, and they were, I don't know, talking about another hurricane that was coming up the East Coast, and get ready for this one. And it's going to be a big one, and there's going to be so much flooding. And then there wasn't. And it happened a few times, but the Weather Channel wouldn't stop, like, over the years, right? The first time it scared me, and I actually went to Walmart and I bought, water, because I knew that I couldn't even flush the toilet without electricity. And so I bought gallon jugs of water and um, flashlight, candles, all kinds of supplies, just to go through my first hurricane in the States. And none of that happened. I mean, none of the prepping was necessary. And so I looked at the Weather Channel in a whole different way. But I also realized that a lot of people that have been watching the Weather Channel go into a panic every single time. And I realized I'm not going into a panic anymore. They got me once, like, fool me once, shame on me. No, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm not buying into the fear mongering anymore. And so yeah, so the weapons of mass information, as he called it, have no more influence on you. That was very freeing when that happened. And he says you are grounded in yourself. You're no longer looking for direction outside of you. Like, I have a moral compass, and it guides me where I want to go. And for example, if something happened at work where I would have to do something that I do not stand behind, then I would rather quit the job than continue to do it just for the money. And I'm not asking anybody for their opinion when it comes to decisions I have to make in my life. I just listen to my heart. I'm not trying to please anybody anymore. And especially my parents, for example. It was very freeing when I realized in my 20s that it makes absolutely no difference what I do, what I look like, or who I surround myself with. They will always have things to complain about. And so that is no longer a problem. It hasn't been for about 30 years, um, because now I can just be myself. But the fact that for 20 years or over 20 years I actually tried to please my parents and be who they wanted me to be, a lot of wasted time, but I needed all that suffering to get to a point where I figured, yeah, nothing I ever do or say, or the people I surround myself with are good enough, or the car I drive is expensive enough. And so I'm freed from that concern. And Jim Carrey talks about that a lot, but this is not a video about Jim Carrey. This is just a video about what I've been thinking about this week and what I've experienced at work. I've been listening to a lot of Eckhart Tolle, and he really sums up a lot of things very well. And I'm like, when I get home from work and I've had all these people like stressing, oh my gosh, and what am I going to do when my badge doesn't work? And how am I going to get in the building? And, they stress. And so when you come home and you have somebody like Eckhart Tolle speaking in your ears, I still have to wear my earplugs because people out there, I'm pointing towards the window now, are crazy. Crazy. So I don't. Just see people freaking out at work, but also, in the public. And I'm trying to be like in the eye of the storm. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying not to get swept up in all that chaos and all that, yelling or people honking their horns because they're so angry about life and they need to take it out on each other. I just exist and I keep plugging along, and while all of this chaos is going on out there, um, I'm just in here going inwards more and more. I find myself doing that. And something that really cracked me up was when Eckhart Tolle was answering a viewer question, and he said, yeah, so you think when you live on a Pacific island and you have a beautiful house and you have servants that bring you everything you need, you're going to be happy then? No. To get away from real life, from the hamster wheel, maybe it's going to help, but eventually your mind is going to tell you this is not right and it should be different. And so it shouldn't be every one of our goals um, to make it to a point where you have enough money. I mean, yes, enough money, but not money in excess and not having to work anymore. Even though, you know what? When he said that, I had to smile too, because when he said, "Oh, you think your suffering is going to be over when you have enough money?" Look at, and he said it. He said, "Look at all the rich people that are depressed and all of those that actually committed suicide because they were still not happy." One of them being Chester Bennington, the singer from the group Linkin Park. And a lot of people, were financially well off, and it's not the solution to our problems. It's just not. Or Jim Carrey once said he wished that everybody could realize their dreams so that they could understand that that's not gonna make you happier. Because the mind wants to keep, and our spirit wants to keep evolving and keep learning new lessons while we're on this planet. So yeah, so back to that little picture that I put up. You can't calm the storm, so stop trying. What you can do is calm yourself, and that's what I've been doing. That's what I've been doing. Reading books on the bus that deal with, like, Eckhart Tolle. I don't have my book. I'm gonna reorder it, but reading Dolores Cannon and really zooming out of life and detaching from what's going on. I know there are a lot of people on this planet that are way younger than me, and they have the energy and the drive to change things out there. They can do that. But I feel that I'm no longer part of that crowd, not age wise, but because I don't take things so seriously anymore. I don't look at life as such you know, a thing to be taken seriously anymore. Um, oh, and I wanted to give you an update on one thing, like semi good news. After 4 weeks, the German Social Security Administration finally sent the confirmation that my request was sent to the consulate in Frankfurt. This is about my German Social Security, or no, the why do I always say it the wrong way around the first time? Um, the 11 years that I worked in the United States, I would like to have that transferred over to my German Social Security. And so that's what I've been trying to do since September last year. And so this is the second attempt, and they're going to do it. And yeah, so this is good news. Other than that, I've not been able to do anything but go to work, come home, just take care of my household, do the laundry. I'm done with the laundry for this weekend. Then I'm gonna roll my cigarettes and, just relax because it was another rough week, overtime, and yeah. But I'm still out here doing my thing, and I hope you guys are doing all right. And, oh, one comment I got was requesting for me to speak about food addiction more. And I'm going to do that because I used to have a video about that, a very long one on my channel. And so I wanted to film an update on that, and I'm going to do it. I'm just not sure if I get to do it this weekend, but it's definitely going to be filmed within the next couple of weeks. All right, you guys. So whoever's interested in that, food addiction and how I look at it, like I googled it this week, in preparation for refilming that video, and I don't like what Wikipedia says about food addiction. I look at it differently, but I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go. I hope you guys are all doing all right. Thank you for watching this. I miss you guys. There's going to be a live stream soon. I'm just not sure when, but I'm going to announce it as far ahead as I can. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Tschüssi. Bye bye.